Hello traders and welcome back to another market update. Today we're going to be taking a look at the currency market. It is closing in on Christmas, so things are a bit quiet for now, but still might be useful to take a look at kind of the bigger picture of what's going on in the currency market and get an idea of exactly kind of what kind of moves we're seeing. So right now let's take a look at EURUSD, which is pulling back to a major level, I will say. Although the holiday season is here, we still do have some levels to consider, such as this recent top and of course the upward trend line that we do see coming across the bottom. Now, if price does decide to pull in here towards the new year, we might see some sort of a bounce off of that structure, maybe even to go back and retest this triple top reversal that we did already see. Now, on the contrary, if we do see some continued bearish strength here on EURUSD, we could see a breakthrough, and looking for the retest might actually be a great trade setup as well. But my first bias is going to be long on this area, thinking that we could find a bounce. And of course, if we're wrong about that, then there might be room to look for the other side of the trade, which is the sell side on a retest and breakdown concept. So next up, let's take a look at pound dollar here. You can see continuing to fall, coming into this area here right around the 1.3 level. We are holding that for the time being, but if price decides to break through, it could be possibly heading to some new structure levels, such as this area here, right? You have that 1.2758 level. You also have this longer term low here at 1.2522. So if price does break through, we could be slipping down to those points. If you're looking for the breakout, there might be some setups to ride that move. And even if you are looking for the continued breakout, watching for that break of 12758. Something to consider there on pound dollar here, continuing to see bearish momentum here. If we draw our fibs that we've been looking at, you can see there we are just breaking through the 38.2. And so your next stop to me looks more like the 50% or even the 61.8 as a continued pullback on pound dollar. Next up, we have dollar yen here, which is continuing to hold this structure high right around the 109.55 level. We have seen a lot of resistance in this area. And so going forward, it will be interesting to see, are we going to break bearish on this, or are we going to break bullish? And if we do break bullish, my bias here is that if we see a break, let me choose a different color here. If we do see a break to the upside and we see some sort of pullback, I think we could be headed back to levels like this, which that level is going to look, let's see what the number is, right around 112.16. To me, if we see a major break there, it's pretty clear that would be kind of the next major structural level, at least that I would be looking for. If you take a look left, you can see that we had some major resistance there. And so the market may want to gravitate towards that area if we start to see that bullish run continue. Gold is our next one. You can see gold kind of chattering back and forth here in this downward channel, currently coming in to test this upward trend structure, which is going to be a big deal because if price decides to break bullish here, if we do see a nice bullish break on gold, we could see the possibility of a continued rally, maybe even to test some of these major levels. Your first stop would be here, your second would be here, and my final kind of area to watch would be the recent high as a potential bull run if we see the breakout of this downward channel. For the time being, however, my bias is going to remain that we could see a sell-off in this area of resistance, maybe even down to test kind of the lower side of this channel, which is going to be right around here, right? So just something that I'm watching for on gold. Brent crude is our next one here. You can see if we clean the chart up, you can see I still have kind of a bearish thesis here on oil due to the fact that we look a bit stretched on the upside. I think that we could see this upper trend line hold as a resistance point and maybe even head us back down to the lower trend line in this kind of channel that we have been seeing, right? So if price does decide to roll over, my idea would be it could come back down to an area like this, which I can't give you an exact number because it is on a diagonal a diagonal level of support, and so that price would change. So I'd be watching for the structure of this kind of line to get retested. Next up is WTI crude, which is going to look very similar. Not too much more to say here on that chart. You can see kind of holding the top of this trend line right now, and we will see if we're going to be able to break bearish and continue back down. Again, same bias would be that I think we're a bit stretched on this pattern, that we could come back down to retest market structure. Next up is going to be EURGBP, which is coming into an interesting level that we've been talking about here on the market updates. If you've been watching them, you can see prices wanting to come into that trend line level of resistance, where I think we could see some sort of disrespect. We could see some sort of continuation of this downtrend momentum. So definitely something to continue to watch for on euro pound. Next up is euro yen. This is a kind of a new one that I decided we should take a look at today, just because we have kind of some interesting counter trend structure here in this market. You can see that we do have a downwards market dominant, but at the same time, we have kind of this counter trend forming on this pair. And so watching this might be interesting. If we do continue to chatter, the question will be, can this turn into a longer term uptrend? And the other thing to consider going into the holidays and in the new year is, if once the markets start to pick back up, if we see a big break, that could be a longer term sell signal for euro yen. And for those longer term bears, this could be just a minor pullback in a major downtrend continuation. GBPJPY is next. You can see continuing to sell off just like pound dollar. I wanted to take a look at this pair because it looks like we are coming into contact with kind of an area right here around the 140.86, where I think we could see a bounce due to the fact that market structure here looking left has been pretty bullish recently, right? So you can see we have seen resistance holding here, but then ultimately turn into support here. And so I think we could have a chance of seeing buyers step in and push price a little bit off of the lows here. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you got something out of the video. We'll catch you next time.